Hey guys! So fun fact, 2026 will be the first year since 2017 where both Marvel and DC will have two mainline movies from their respective cinematic universes releasing in the same year while DC is not actively rebooting. In 2023, we had three movies from each company, but that was the year that Warner Brothers was dumping its last DCEU slack in theaters before hitting the reset button. And before then, the pandemic had both companies not being fully operational. As a comic book fan though, the concept of Marvel and DC having fully operational years under reliable leadership and movies that are interesting and exciting is something I thought that would never happen again after the failure of the DCU, because it was in such a horrific condition for the longest time. But here we are. We can finally be excited again about these two powerhouses operating in full force and moving forward with no drama, nothing like that. And I feel like this isn't being talked about enough. I think instead of the constant negativity in the superhero space we see nowadays, we should realize that both of our favorite companies are at the top of their game. Summer of last year, starting with Thunderbolts into Superman's world domination, ending with Fantastic Four, it was just a magical time to be a comic book fan. New interviews, premieres, magazines, shoots, articles, announcements, live streams, collaborations. We had infinite content to keep us fed for months. And this year, yet again, we have 4 superhero movies to keep us busy, but this time it's balanced between 2 Marvel and 2 DC. And there's some very exciting projects. In the summer, we have our young, fun blockbusters with Supergirl and Spider-Man, and then we have our winter for our horror Clayface, and then our humongous Avengers movie to end off the year. So I thought it would be a fun idea to look at the upcoming year and rank all 4 of these projects on how successful overall that I think they will be. And by successful, I don't just mean box office. While yes, that will play a big part, I've created 4 specific areas of success which will all be factoring into my ranking. 1. Box office. Obviously, this is important. While people say, oh, leave it up to the people in charge, it's their job, they'll worry about that. But in reality, the audience's power lies in how we spend our money and what we choose to make successful. And at the end of the day, this is a business, so if they aren't seeing a return, they won't continue making what we love. And in an era of massive budgets, we should be worried about how many people show up, especially since these Hollywood executives, they don't really take the right messages away from theatrical failures. Like, for example, if the Marvels flopped, that doesn't mean that we should scrap the character and we should have no women in the Avengers film. It means that maybe give her a maybe slightly better written movie or a better product overall. It's nothing to do with female characters, which is weirdly the route they've taken. Second, quality. If the movie will actually be good or not. And this we can kind of base off of creatives attached to the projects, the writers, directors, their track record, and also what the source material is, what the story looks like, and just how good the movie looks, like from a critics and from a how good is it standpoint. Third, cultural impact. I'll use Superman as an example. So say what you will about the box office performance about Superman, no one can deny that it captured the cultural zeitgeist in a way that a DC movie hasn't done in a long time. That punk rocker song going viral and still being used in anything DC related today, Hopecore taking over TikTok and other social media, edits, fan casting culture, David Cornswell's popularity, it was all a pop culture sort of moment. For example, how Wicked was. How likely is it for one of these films to have that sort of effect? Lastly, we have audience reception. Is it a crowd pleaser? Will it make fans jump up and cheer in the theater? Does it have fan service moments, cameos, things for us to be excited about and talk about? How much does it connect with the fandom itself? So now that you understand the criteria, let's move on to the ranking. So last place, unfortunately, this is sad, but we have Supergirl. I could not be a bigger advocate for the idea of this movie and for Millie Alcock's Supergirl, but due to many factors, this is not a safe bet, unfortunately. Superhero fans nowadays really be moving like the KKK and Andrew Tate. They hate women and people of color, and they will literally do anything to not support those projects and hate on those projects. And I'm already seeing those same toxic spaces speaking on Supergirl, and knowing how the story will be perceived as a quote-unquote feminist and anti-men, it's just a horrible truth. But DC marketing should try their best to counteract this as best they can. Also, the movie itself is just not moving the needle or carrying any hype right now, even though it's the only one on this list that has really started its marketing campaign. Looking at recent female-led projects, I'm estimating a box office to be similar to maybe Thunderbolts, as in the 300 to 400 million range, so not very promising. The first trailer did not nearly have the unanimous positive reception that Superman's first look had, and I would say some of the negative reception about the trailer is warranted. The colors are very muted and the whole movie has this sort of ugly brown and metallic tinge to it. The sets look very generic MCU Ravager alien planet, and I get it, let's wait for the movie itself. But we've seen the opening act, all of Krypton, the action sequence on the ship, and it's all sort of has the same vibe, and also Krem looks ridiculous and horrible. I don't know why they decided to change his design. Test screenings have reportedly been positive though, and I think director Craig Gillespie has a good track record with telling complex female stories like I, Tonya and Cruella, and I think Millie Alcock is amazing in the role. I trust James Gunn's judgment enough to still be excited for this movie, so I have hope that the final project will be good. Next we have Avengers Doomsday. Now hold up, this might sound crazy, but this movie is not a slam dunk to me. In my eyes, this movie is either going to be the best Marvel movie ever made, or it's going to be complete and utter dog shit. I can't imagine it being just okay or meh based on everything we've heard so far. Marvel is pulling out all the stops to save themselves, bringing back everyone that's left to bring back, making this a cameo-filled nostalgia slot movie to try and get butts in seats, which could turn out amazingly somehow, but it could also turn out like The Flash. And with this huge cost and VFX required, I would not be surprised if the budget is astronomical, close to maybe an Avatar movie for example, and the movie would have to be a massive hit to break even, or even try and be successful. I see this movie being very front-loaded, as in it has a massive first weekend, but if the movie is shit, it could burn out very fast. But low-key, I trust the Russo brothers, because all of their Marvel movies, in my opinion, have been 10 out of 10 amazing films. But filming without a finished script and having RDJ as Doom, as well as focusing on underdeveloped characters that are far from fan favorites, those are pretty big hurdles to cross. And so I can't put it higher on the list right now. The only areas I see this being successful is just being an action-packed crowd pleaser, which doesn't sound too bad, especially with the last few Marvel movies having a distinct lack of action sequences in my opinion. This movie could potentially tap into the culture though. We still see edits of all the aura farming moments in Avengers Endgame and Infinity, and the Russo brothers really do know how to give every fan favorite character their own aura farming action moment, and seeing that for Sue and Reed and Loki and Cyclops, that would feed the editors and the TikTok crowd and the fans for years to come. But I can't really bring this movie higher now. We will see as our marketing campaign unfolds, but right now I don't really see it being a slam dunk. Next, I have Clayface, which is surprising, I know. I'm generally the least excited for this film, as I think it's a bit random and a bit of a waste of a DCU movie slot this year, but seeing as though we haven't even gotten a poster, a trailer, a teaser, not even a first look on set, I can't help but wonder why. Is the movie gonna have this big surprise like the first Joker, or what? This gives me hope, added with the fact that it has an amazing creative team. James Watkins is a solid horror director who can do disturbing pretty well, and Mike Flanagan is of course a great horror writer. So this has the potential to not just be a great movie, but a great horror movie, which we haven't really seen in the superhero space. It's being described as gothic, and I think that a good way to make this film stand out is through the visuals and cinematography, which hopefully that's what they're doing. Some of the set picks and how they play with lighting also seems very interesting, and there's lots of Easter eggs on set for characters like Zatanna and Black Canary, and even though I'm probably setting myself up for failure, that does make me excited for those characters to make a potential appearance. Also, with a budget of 40 million, it's kind of impossible to bomb. Let me not jinx it, because DC, anything is possible for them. But unless it's the worst movie ever made or something, it only needs 100 million to break even, which is actually such a foolproof amount. Also, this is the perfect setup for TikTok domination. The grungy, gothic body horror film is ripe for TikTok edits, creating its own Clayface core, having a doomed romance, having a main I can fix him character. This is perfectly crafted to create its own fandom online and take advantage of the TikTok virality as well, so I can see it doing well in this department as well. But first place, this is kind of a no-brainer to me. It's Spider-Man Brand New Day. Come on, he's the biggest superhero known to mankind. He can shit in a bucket and it will make $1 billion, especially with Tom Holland, who is objectively the most universally liked Spider-Man for all ages. We have been itching for another Spider-Man film since No Way Home, and not only just that, but a Spider-Man free from the MCU clutches and the Iron Kid allegations, and just being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Add on to that Destin Daniel Cretton directing, who is an amazing action director, and the fight sequences they're just gonna go crazy. Also, the plethora of Spider-Man villains making an appearance in this movie, it's gonna be action-packed, and seeing Scorpion in live action for the first time, this is gonna be true crowd-pleasing hype. But the thing that I'm personally most excited about is the fact that the main villain of this movie is still somehow a surprise. And on top of that, the female lead played by Sadie Sink is still a mystery as well. In the era of everything in a movie being leaked months in advance, look at No Way Home. We knew everything that was going to happen. We knew every Spider-Man that was going to show up. And that sort of dulled the experience of the actual film. But going into a movie with two huge mysteries like this, it's so exciting and a breath of fresh air. Even if she's just playing Jean Grey, I've actually come around on that casting and think she's a great choice. And seeing the X-Men start to be sprinkled around, popping up in different MCU projects would be so exciting. And this is a guaranteed box office success as well. Like, this is the only safe bet I have for $1 billion on this list. In this new era of 400 to 600 million being the new norm, it's Spider-Man. It's making $1 billion. So the hype is there. It's going to be good. It's going to be a hit. It's going to take over the world for a few months with the interviews, the global press tour. It's just going to be the summer event, just like Superman was last year. And that's so exciting. So that's my ranking. I know some may move around before June when the race will really start and kick off, but most of these films haven't really started their marketing campaign, so I'm doing this based off of what we know so far, so it could all change. Maybe Avengers Doomsday could move up one, but I haven't seen anything yet to indicate that, and the negativity surrounding this film is palpable. Let me know what you guys think, and see you in the next video.